Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the PWP Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am the host, Marco Alvarado, and literally what this podcast is, folks, is everything about professional wrestling. That's right, news, recaps, rumors, whatever you can think of that's pro wrestling, it's going to be on this podcast, covering from WWE to AEW to New Japan Pro Wrestling at times to Impact, Ring of Honor, whatever you can think of, it will be covered on this podcast as long as I am on this platform. Again, I am the host, Marco Alvarado, and I want to thank The Signal for allowing me to do this podcast to expand the vision and to just let everything out on here about everything pro wrestling. In today's first ever episode of the PWP, we are going to be going over the Smackdown results that happened last Friday night. We also have AEW Revolution take place this past Sunday, and also we're going to have an updated card about this year's WrestleMania that's going to be in a month away. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into it. Smackdown last week. Here are your results and everything that had happened. At the start of the show, we had Cody Rhodes, the winner of this year's Royal Rumble, come face-to-face with Roman Reigns for WrestleMania. So Roman Reigns is the WWE Undisputed Champion at the moment. Rumor has it that his time will come up to an end being the champ at WrestleMania because Cody Rhodes is going to be the new person that's going to be the face of the brand of WWE after what he has done after he left the WWE back in some time ago, and now is the perfect time to have a new champ and new face around the place in WWE. So just for a little bit of background for the people who don't know what the Royal Rumble is, the Royal Rumble is a pay-per-view that the WWE has been having around since the early 90s, possibly late 80s. The Royal Rumble match is a over-the-top battle royale with 30 people in it. Now they have a women's Royal Rumble and a men's Royal Rumble. In this case, we have Cody Rhodes as the winner as the men's Royal Rumble. And usually whenever you win the Royal Rumble, you are granted a shot at whatever title that you desire for at WrestleMania. You get the main event WrestleMania to face the champion and to probably become the champion. But now, since the Universal and WWE championships are combined, you're only going for one prize here, folks, and that's that title, and that's against the tribal chief himself, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has been champion for 900 plus days now. He's creeping up on 1,000, and Lord only knows if that's only going to happen in a matter of time. WrestleMania is less than a month away, so it's just building up hype between these two contestants for the main event at WrestleMania. So Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns had their promo face-to-face. Nothing physical happened, just a bunch of verbal language was happening. And we dive into the matches. We had Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. Rhea Ripley won via submission. We had Santos Escobar versus Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio was the winner via pinfall. And then we also had an Intercontinental Championship promo featuring Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, LA Knight, and the New Day, which consists of the people of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods and Karrion Kross. So literally Drew McIntyre called out the Intercontinental Champion, Gunther. Sheamus then came out and confronted McIntyre because they're homies. LA Knight came out saying that he deserves a shot. The New Day came out because, Kofi Kingston defeated LA Knight last week. And then Karrion Kross is out there because he's been on a hot streak. So then it was then announced that a fatal 5-way match was going to be taking place on next week's SmackDown featuring all 5 of these men. So we have Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, LA Knight, Kofi Kingston, and Karrion Kross. Winner gets Gunther at WrestleMania. So it is confirmed that WrestleMania will feature an Intercontinental Championship match either on day 1 or day 2. Forgot to mention, WrestleMania is a 2-day event that happens on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, I know. So here we go. Then we go into another match. We had Shayna Baszler versus Tegan Fox. Shayna Baszler wins via submission. Then we had a Bray Wyatt with Uncle Howdy promo, which featured Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt is a match at WrestleMania, so there's a feud there. In this promo, Uncle Howdy attacked Lashley, but Lashley reversed the attack, then Howdy disappeared. If you know Bray Wyatt's really into cryptic messages and very weird stuff, I could say. So Bray Wyatt is playing mind games with Bobby Lashley. Again, build up towards the match. We are less than a month away from the biggest show on earth. Then we finally had our main event for this week's SmackDown. It was Solo Sikoa versus Sami Zayn. Solo picked up the win via pinfall, and after the match, Solo and his brother Jimmy Uso attacked Zayn. If you've been keeping up with wrestling lately, especially with the Bloodline, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens storyline of the Bloodline, you know that the Bloodline is not cool with Sami Zayn at the moment. The Bloodline consists of Solo Sikoa, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, and Roman Reigns, and their wise man, Paul Heyman. So there was one point where Sami Zayn was an honorary Uso. As time went on, Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns eventually got into a match at the Elimination Chamber this past month in Montreal. It was a very big hit, and now there's a feud between Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. So back to this post-match assault with Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, and Sami Zayn. Solo and Jimmy attack Zayn. Jimmy Uso was going to attack Sami Zayn with a chair, but Zayn hits a haluva kick to Jimmy Uso, which is Sami Zayn's signature move, and throws the steel chair at Solo, then gets out of the ring. Then the camera pans to backstage where Roman Reigns does not look pleased with these actions. So that's your SmackDown recap for this past week. I want to go ahead and highlight the WrestleMania card that we currently have at the moment. Again, more to come in this coming month as WrestleMania is fastly approaching us. Your current card is one night main event would be the WWE Universal Championship match between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Then we got the SmackDown Women's Championship match between Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. Note, Rhea Ripley won the Women's Royal Rumble to get this championship opportunity. So, out of the Raw Women's Championship and SmackDown Women's Championship, she went ahead and went with the SmackDown Championship to face Charlotte Flair. Then we got the Raw Women's Championship match between Bianca Belair and Asuka. Asuka got this championship opportunity by defeating the women in the Elimination Chamber match that they had back at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in Montreal. So Asuka was the winner, and now she's going after the Raw Women's Championship. Then we have the Intercontinental Championship between the winner of the Fatal 5-Way match at SmackDown this week versus Gunther. Then we got Brock Lesnar versus Almost. So that's your current WrestleMania card at the moment. Again, subject to change. More matches will be made because, again, this is a 2-night event, Saturday and Sunday in Los Angeles, and WrestleMania is looking pretty darn good at the moment. Now going outside of WWE, AEW held their Revolution pay-per-view this past Sunday in San Francisco. The matches consist of Chris Jericho versus Ricky Starks, Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy in a no-holds-barred match. We had an AEW World Trios Championship match between the Elite and the House of Black, AEW Women's Championship 3-way match, a Texas Death match, a TNT Championship match, an AEW World Tag Team Championship Fatal 4-way match, an AEW World Championship match, which was a 60-minute Iron Man match. So going back to the first match, we had Chris Jericho versus Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks defeated Chris Jericho. Then we had Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy in a no-holds-barred match. Jungle Boy picked up the win against Christian Cage. And in the AEW World Trios Championship match, the Elite, which consists of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, who the Young Bucks are Nick and Matt Jackson. They went against the House of Black. The House of Black is a team consisting of Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King. The Elite dropped their championships to the House of Black. The House of Black are the new AEW Trios champions. Then we had our AEW Women's World Championship 3-way match. Jamie Hayter versus Saraya versus Ruby Soho. Jamie Hayter retained her championship and defeated Ruby Soho and Saraya. Then we had the Texas Death match between Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page. Hangman picked up the win over Jon Moxley. Then we had the TNT Championship match, which is Samoa Joe and Wardlow. Wardlow defeated Samoa Joe to become the new TNT Championship. Then we had our AEW World Tag Team Championship Fatal 4-Way match. We had the Gums versus the Acclaim versus Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal versus Orange Cassidy. The Guns defeated the Acclaim and Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal and Orange Cassidy and Dan Hazen to become AEW World Tag Team Champions. Then we had the AEW World Championship 60-man Iron Man match, MJF versus Bryan Danielson. The match went into overtime, but MJF retained his belt against Bryan Danielson in a 4-3 win in the Iron match. So AEW, there's been a lot of concerns with AEW and how their booking is due to Tony Khan, their owner, and how he's strategizing and booking these events. The build-up to Revolution wasn't really as good as it has been, but from fan feedback, this was a pretty solid pay-per-view all around the board. Everybody loved the matches. Everybody liked the quality of the matches. Again, it's a pay-per-view, so you have to show out in these situations. But I think at the moment, all eyes are really on the WWE because it's WrestleMania season. WrestleMania is literally the Super Bowl of all things wrestling. Again, it's a 2-day event. Keep it locked in here on PWP. This next coming episode, we'll have the Raw recap and more build-up to WrestleMania. Also, we'll have AEW's recap of Dynamite and Rampage as well. So let's keep it locked in on here. This has been the first episode of the PWP. I'm Marco Alvarado, and y'all have yourselves a nice one.